Well, what's up? Hey, video land, how y'all doing? It's your girl Knowledge by Nikki with 1K, and I am finishing up our coaching series. I'm finishing up the 4 types of coaches that actually exist out there. This series was generated, I've said this every day now for like the last 2 weeks. We've been talking about this, and this series was really kind of born or birthed out of people constantly asking me through the years, what do you do? What do I need to do to be a coach? I've said it 1,000 times that this is something you're called to do, people. This is not something you wake up and decide to do. It really isn't, guys. This is a gift, and it is a gift that is meant to not be misused. When you decide you're going to be a coach for someone, you are basically saying, guys, that I am going to be the authority, the expert, the person to help you master your life and get to your best self. That's what you're really saying. And I just believe that people do not take that seriously, guys. I just really believe it. In the last maybe 5 to 10 years, I've seen this spike of people desiring to be coaches or mentors, and they are different. We're also going to have a series where we talk about the differences, but I've seen this spike. And anytime I see a spike in something that I believe is so precious and so serious, I say to myself, okay, what's this about? It must be some money in it. It must be something in it that's got all these people all of a sudden thinking they want to do this. Because when I decided to accept the call, because y'all, most of us that are really gifted and born to coach, we ran from it. We didn't want to do that. We were like, oh, no. That's like being called to pastor or to preach. Or you like, seriously, God, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So most of us, we just kept getting pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled to eventually you accept the call. But even when you do that, you have to learn, what does this mean? That was my biggest thing, guys. I was like, what does that mean? People going to call me every day. I got to deal with their problems all the time. I didn't know what it meant. So it took me about 7 years before I really made the decision and a host of different things that let me know, okay, it's time. Before I said, okay, I'm going to do this. But even after I did it, guys, I had to learn, what does this mean to people? How do you monetize this thing? How do you know what to say? Do you just go by your own examples? How do you do this? So before I actually did it, in that 6 or 7 years that it actually took for me to say I'm going to do this, I spent a lot of time learning about some of the things that I'm going to talk to you about. Now, for the last couple of weeks, or this week specifically, we talked about the 4 different types of coaches. You see, today we're just talking about one. But we talked about life coaching, which I think is coaching at the pinnacle level. Then we talked about, what was yesterday? We talked about life coaching. Then now, financial coaching, which is, oh God, that we could probably just stay there really, guys, for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, really. We could have a whole month of financial coaching. As you all know, or some of you all may not, if this is your first time listening to me, this is Knowledge by Nikki with 1K. Is I am a financial coach, and I mainly focus on the salon industry. What I have realized in me growing in this financial arena is that I have also seemed to attract people who are not in the salon industry. I was a keynote speaker for an event back about 4 months ago, and it was such an honor to be chosen to be that. And I did a workshop at this event, and the workshop consisted of me doing financial restructuring, which is what I do. Restructure, that means you already kind of got something going on, but somewhere went left or right and it wasn't supposed to go that way, and now we got to fix it. That's kind of the arena that I dwell in. So when the people signed up for this class, guys, it was about 10 of them. Not one of them were from my industry. I had caterers, I had personal trainers, I had event planners, I had real estate people, I had one girl, what did she do? I forgot what all of their occupations were, but what I realized is, because I've set this program up where it doesn't necessarily say salons, but it actually does kind of focus on them. And if you all notice, I didn't put anything in the heading today. I just started. I totally forgot. But one thing that I realize is that the rules of entrepreneurship, when it comes to one person making their money basically through what we call transactional situations, meaning one client comes to you for whatever it is that they're getting, they pay you, and then they leave. The same rules apply to every industry that operates like that. Oh, I had some restaurant owners. That was the other occupation I had in there. People that own some little cupcake shops and coffee shops, and because it's the same. It's basically you don't get paid if a client doesn't come in there and get a service or buy a product and walk out the door and pay for it and then walk out the door. So a lot of the rules were applying, and so it has since expanded my financial coaching and my business restructuring or business development strategies coaching group into really attracting far more than just the salon industry. But that's where my passion lies. That's where my foundation was laid. And so I want to talk to you a little bit today about the third aspect of coaching. Now, there are actually way more than four. There are way more than four. There's probably 15 or 16 different ways that or different types of coaches, but I find they all fall under one of these four umbrellas. So life coaching is the first one. We did financial coaching, which is really fun because I love financial coaching. And who knew? Hey, as raggedy as mine were, who knew I would end up in that arena? But there's something that I want to talk about in here that steered me in the direction of being able to go with what I was taught. So I'll talk about that when we get to that. But now we're going to talk about health coaching. And I want to talk to you all about something that I heard Tyler Perry say. Now, this is not the first time I heard this. It isn't. You all see my cup? You like my cup? I love it. You want to proceed as if success is inevitable. I drink out this cup every morning, guys. But one thing that Tyler Perry said that stuck with me, and it wasn't that I had just heard it for the first time. I think it was the cycle of life I was in that it meant something to me. And I'm sure some of you all can attest. You've heard some of the things that you've heard 50 times, but when you're in a different place in your life or a different mental space, those things mean different things to you. So let me tell you what he said. I think he was on Jimmy Kimmel, or he was on somebody's nighttime talk show, and they asked him, do you sleep? Do you ever get some rest? And his comment was, whatever, they asked him in some kind of way that, and his rebuttal was, or his comment was, the only way that he said, well, basically he said, no, I don't really. He said, but I enjoy it. He said the only way that he's actually able to do what he does is that he had to accept the fact that he had to really focus on a healthier lifestyle. He started talking about he had to eat better. He had to watch what he took in his mind, things he watched, things he looked at even on his phone. And he just started going into this whole way that he had to accept that in order for him to have the sustainability to be able to do all that he does, he had to realize how important a healthier lifestyle and a wellness sense of lifestyle was to his existence. And it was interesting because before that, we've heard it. You got to, Brain Food and Jim Quick, who I've talked about on YouTube. His last name is spelled with a K, Kwik, I believe. And he talks about all the time about how the mental clarity and all of that, how it's affected by different lifestyles and food choices. And it wasn't until I got to a certain space mentally and at a certain age and wanted to do things differently that I realized, guys, look at me when I say this, guys. It is so true. It is so true. So without going into a whole health lesson, you all see I'm sitting at my desk with my computer. I got a little smart. I said, I'm going to do this a little different, right? So what I'm doing, guys, is I'm going to just go through this. Let's talk about first, and I'm going to break some of these down as we go on. What is a health coach? What is that? Because, I didn't actually get wired up to this type of coaching until maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. And I start hearing that thrown out and I'm like, okay, what do they do? What is that? So I didn't know that I had been I have a close associate. Her name is Danielle McBride. I'm giving her a plug. She's out of, I want to say Connecticut, somewhere east. And I've known Danielle forever. Like when I say forever, I mean, really guys, I've known her forever. And I had no idea that this is really what she did. I knew she was in that sector some kind of way, but I didn't know she was an actual health coach. Then I met a friend of hers also, which talks about, is this, okay, it's not showing in my computer, which also talked about health coaching, and they kind of take a different perspective to it. So this is when I realized that, oh, there's actually a whole space for health coaches. So I've learned a lot about it since talking to them. So I gave you kind of the I call it the watered down version, but it was the quickest version I could come up with. So I put a couple definitions together. What is a health coach? And I got a monitor right in front of me because my computer's behind me. So I'm looking to the side, looking at my monitor. What is a health coach? It is a supportive mentor and health and wellness authority that assists individuals with food choices. Let's go up here. Nutrition, spiritual awareness, and behavioral choices that will directly affect lifestyle and overall personal and professional goals. Guys, when I say it is the truth, oh my God. Eat on Thanksgiving. We just had Thanksgiving. Eat on Thanksgiving. And for those of you all that have what I call intellectual jobs that require you to think, I want you to eat Thanksgiving food. Traditional. Not no fancy vegan food or nothing. Just regular old down home soul food, traditional Thanksgiving food. I want you to eat that food. And I want you to attempt maybe an hour after that to do a project or complete a project that requires you to do a lot of thinking. And I want you to see how well you can do it. And chances are you can't. I will tell you as a living witness that I have really understood, as the older people used to say, I've said it in this particular segment we're in, keep living. It is the truth, guys. You will not be able to have mental clarity and really focus if you do not have some decent food put into your body. You know, we've come up with this word in my culture called the itis. It means that as soon as we eat, especially if we eat bad food, what happens, guys? You automatically get what? You get sleepy, right? You're zonked out, you're tired, you got your buckle in your pants open, or you unzipped, or you just ready to go do nothing. As much of nothing as you can, guys. Well, let me go a little bit further with this. And these are some things. I'm only focusing on two. But I want you all to understand this, because if you decide to be a coach, if this is something that you decide to do, you're going to have to recognize when some of these habits are literally affecting your coachee's ability to move forward. Because it could very well be. I want to give a little bit of a leeway to some of my fellow hairstylists. How we have situations where people's hair is falling out and we're doing what we've always been doing and we haven't changed products and we don't know what's going on, and they think it's all because of what we do or don't do, and they're blaming us, and we trying to fix it, and we condition it to death, and we're trying to literally figure this thing out. I'm telling you all, it could be something as simple as food changes. Everything is not our fault, and everything we cannot fix. So you have to start recognizing that when you're coaching people, it's a layered situation here. There are many things that actually will cause them to not be able to move forward, or you give them a project and because they're always eating bad, they're not able to focus and complete it, and you mad. You're like, what is the problem? Why can't you finish this stuff? It's easy, just do it. And we're going through all of these things trying to figure out as coaches. These are for people who are interested in being coached or interested in coaching. But for those of you that are interested in being coaches, I want you to lighten up on the people that are coaching you and quit thinking they can rearrange your whole life without you making some decisions as well. This is a partnership, guys. So let's talk about some of these things. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Nutrition and poor eating habits, guys. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm not a health nut. I eat a whole lot better than I used to, and I do things way better than I used to. But these are things that is true, guys. It's going to affect your energy levels. The more you want to be responsible for, the more you want on your plate, the more businesses, the more salons, the more workers, the more. We're in this whole society just says more, bigger and more. The problem is with bigger and more, it's going to require you to change into bigger and to have a capacity to handle more. That means as it grows, you have to grow also. And you have to become more aware of the things that are hindering you or helping you to grow, which we're going to talk about when we get to wellness. So when you talk about energy levels, you're going to have some sustainability. You want more clients? Okay. You're going to have to be able maybe initially to work longer hours. Or if you don't want to work longer hours, you're going to have to be able to have the mental capacity to train people to do the job for you as well as you would do it. These are things that are going to be essential to you being able to pursue and get to whatever these goals you want are. It does matter what you eat. You cannot eat fried chicken, hot dogs. And let me tell y'all something. Now, I am not the written authority on this, but I can tell you from my own personal experience, I became allergic to dairy. I didn't say lactose intolerant. I said allergic. I'm talking about you eat it, 20, 30 minutes later, it's doing a job on you. I'm talking about coming out in every orifice that I have, and it is terrible, and it feels like food poisoning. It is awful, guys. So I became allergic to dairy about a year and some change ago, and me and the doctors had no idea what it was. Now, when I say dairy, I'm talking about the milk protein that is in the milk that comes from a cow. Y'all that want to argue with me over how I can eat eggs, eggs come from a chicken. They do not come from a cow, okay? So I didn't say I'm allergic to the whole dairy aisle. I said I'm allergic to dairy. To cow products, okay? When this happened, they had no idea what it was. But after my endocrinologist, guys, I have a whole different respect for the endocrine system. Plus, I had thyroid cancer, as you all can see. And I had my thyroid removed because I had cancerous tumors on both sides. Y'all, they told me I would never talk again. I said, the devil is a liar. And y'all see I'm talking and talking well. So, in that, my endocrinologist was the one who figured it out. And he said it is very common for people after they get their thyroid removed for their body just to flip. There are things I didn't like to eat that I like. There are things that I like that I can't stand now. And he said it's very common for people to develop an allergic reaction or a sensitivity to certain foods. Well, mine happened to be dairy, and it ain't sensitive. I can't eat it. It's to the point where I'm a label reader. I'm all in the store like, oh, nope, got milk in it. Oh, nope, got butter in it. Oh, nope, got cheese. I can't do none of that, guys. I'm talking about so bad I can't eat cheese, potato chips, or I'm going to be bent over, right? The beauty of what happened to me, and I say it's beautiful because if God hadn't done it, I probably never would have quit. Not completely anyway. Is that I have been told by many health coaches and health professionals to quit dairy or minimize dairy. For any of you all that have been on any type of programs where there were nutrition-based diet type programs, that's one of the main things they tell you is to cut. They may not say quit it, but they say cut back on dairy. I have since learned about dairy and how dairy creates this mucus, and it's just, this, you can go on forever just learning about dairy. Guys, since I quit dairy, and I mean quit it, y'all hear me? Like, you ain't got to worry about me unless it's accident, and it's right away. I could taste something and feel it like, it's something in here. When I say I quit it, my joints don't swell. It's got to have something to do with mental clarity. Not gassy. Was able to lose 62 pounds in less than a year. It changed everything for me. Now, I am not the written authority on what dairy does, but I'm going to give my friend a plug again, Danielle McBride. She's a health coach. She said she literally, when she takes clients on, she can explain better than anybody I've ever heard about the effects of dairy. She said if they are not even willing to entertain the concept of quitting eventually dairy, she will not take them on as a client. That's how serious she realizes dairy affects the things that you do. Mental, it is, y'all study it. I'm still learning about it, but since I quit it, it's been maybe a little over a year now. I'm so glad God made me allergic to it because it made me change everything. Because everything got milk in it or a milk derivative or whey or something. And so it made me change everything. But that's what I want, energy levels. Mental clarity and focus. Y'all see that? It's the truth, guys. And when I had my thyroid removed, automatically for anybody who has ever had any thyroid or endocrine issues, Man, when I say you develop an all new respect for how the endocrine system plays a key role in your life with everything from digestion to the way your heart beats to mental clarity, everything. Even just getting your T3s and T4s back in line. Those are the hormones that are secreted from the pituitary gland, which the thyroid controls. Even getting those stabilized. So if anyone has ever had their thyroid removed, or they have hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism, man, your body is so out of whack. You lose focus. You could walk in the room, and I'm not talking about just regular forgetting. I'm talking about you could walk. I could, from right here, I'm sitting at my desk, I could get up, walk out this door, come right back and be like, what was I getting ready to do? You forget everything. Your mind is just scattered. It's really difficult to focus when your T3s and T4s are off. So part of that mental clarity also comes in getting your body back in balance. And there are different things. Foods do that. You got pH balanced foods. You got foods that put more of certain, what am I trying to say? Certain, I can't think of the word, certain hormones. They put certain hormones back into there's so much to learn about foods that affect mental clarity. You'll hear people talk about berries. I eat a lot of berries now, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. It's true, guys. From vision to, I'm telling you, and I am not a health nut, but I have gotten older, and since I became allergic to dairy, I've had to understand what do these foods really do. And I've switched and changed. They do matter, okay? So this is something that if you are coaching someone, and every time y'all have a coaching session, they eat some Popeyes, I'm just telling you, I'm not saying you can't have Popeyes. I may break down, eat Popeyes every now and again too. But what I am telling you is bad or poor eating habits will affect your ability to get to your higher levels of success. Whatever that is, it will affect it, guys. I'm a living witness. Then we see, what do we see next? Obesity, right? We already know obesity deals with blood pressure and your heart. And we don't even have to go that deep, right? Because if you keep eating bad, you're going to deal with this, okay? Even if you got good genetics, you eventually going to gain some weight. You know that, right? And even if you don't gain weight, it still can be affecting you internally. Where, as the older people used to say, you keep living. The one thing you would hate to see, and I'm talking to all my entrepreneurs who have no insurance, who have no disability insurance, who have no business overhead insurance, who have nothing to protect them if they can't work. Take it from a girl who has had 9 surgeries in my lifetime due to all kind of stuff that was health related, food related, all kind of stuff. Take it. Listen to me when I say, to be off work when you are the key contributor and provider of the income that comes into your job, to be off work for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks is the difference in you having a business and not having a business. It's the difference in you being with a home and being homeless. So trust me when I say it is absolutely essential as you get older. And I believe in taking baby steps. I don't do no diets. I don't believe in them. I believe that when we get to wellness, I'm going to talk about that a little bit. You just have to start making some subtle changes. If you are coaching people, you have to coach them into making some subtle changes so they can be more effective in what it is that you're telling them to do. Okay, you see the next one, blood pressure. I got my assistant. I have 3. I have an administrative assistant, a personal assistant, and then a customer liaison assistant. She the one handle all the problems and when y'all be fussing at me about stuff, right? When my personal assistant, who's always with me, her name is Stephanie Cambridge. I'm giving her a shout out. She has blood pressure issues. If she's been eating too much salt, or if her diet has been real off, her fingers will swell, and ankles will swell. All this stuff will swell, which now makes it incredibly uncomfortable for her to work. I don't know about you all, but remember the movie Shallow Hal where he said the girl had cankles? I don't know about you all, but it ain't fun working with cankles. I used to have cankles a lot too when I ate more like a lot of hot food. I was the hot sauce, hot pepper. If it wasn't hot, I didn't want it queen. And that subsequently made me stay swollen with cankles and fingers swollen. And it was just incredibly uncomfortable to work. So we know these things can affect your ability to coach someone and help them do what they need to do. I'm going to tell you all, and I'm still working on this, guys, tooth decay. The last time I went to the dentist, and I have since learned, I've been reading, studying, man, when I say your teeth not being taken care of, not going to get checkups, it is amazing to me how many things in our bodies can spearhead from us having decayed teeth or us having things like abscess. I've had an abscess before, and the abscess actually traveled through my entire face to my neck. So we talking about antibiotics now. We talking about something that started off, I was eating popcorn, guys. You know, I didn't eat popcorn for a lot of years after this. And that little shear kernel that comes off the popcorn, it got lodged down in my gum some kind of way. And, you know, you try to get it out, and I think I pieced it off. I thought it was out, but it wasn't at the time. I actually had braces. So what happened was, you know, day by day at things, I'm like, what's going on? It started hurting and swelling, and it turned black and purple, and I didn't go see about it like I should right away. So by that time, I woke up with my face swollen, and then it looked like bruises running. I mean, it was terrible, guys. They had to cut part of the braces out. They had to lance it, clean it, give me antibiotics because the infection had spread all through my face and all that from a popcorn kernel, guys. But it's the same thing that could happen with tooth decay because it'll just spread like cancer. So these are things, and I'm talking again to my entrepreneurs. These are things that can keep you from working, keep you from going to your job, which means now it's going to affect other stuff, right? So here you are, you a coach. You coaching people, and y'all doing it, and they don't take care of certain aspects. They tell you about it. Oh, I got a toothache, but they don't go see about it, and you don't encourage them to go see about it. Now what happens, guys? Now they can't pay you for coaching because they can't work. And now they got to take off work, which means that begats this, and almost like in the Bible, right? It starts a domino effect for all these things. So these are things that we just have to be aware of when we're coaching people. Then we talk about slow immune response. I went through that as well, guys. I did not realize that poor eating habits, not really taking care of my health, it inhibited my body's ability to heal. So I'd be at work cutting with these brand new sharpened shears, right? Shear sharp. I would always cut this, you know, not doing what they said in school, by not cutting past that second knuckle. I'd always cut it. I had gotten infected so bad at one time because my body wasn't healing well. They thought I was diabetic at one time because if I got a minor cut, it would turn into this, 2-3 month black, almost keloid looking thing. And if I got a bruise, it wouldn't heal quick. It just was awful. And because of that, my immune response, that means if I was on a plane for too many weeks, if somebody sneezed, I got a cold. I'm done. So I started learning about how all of this, through a nutritionist actually, how all of this started playing a role even in my immune response. Can y'all afford to have the flu and be off for 4-6 weeks? Can you afford that? Probably not, right? So these are things that we have to just, when we're coaching, realize that there are a lot of factors that affect a person's ability to get where we're trying to get them to go. Then here we go. My hairstylist, my hair people. We talking about brittle or dry hair and nails, right? Here you are, you using all your conditioner. You just conditioning the hair to death. Ain't nothing happening. You like, what is going on? Client mad because you done made her pay for this extra conditioner, and you like, look, I don't know what's going on. I ain't doing nothing no different. The water ain't funny. I don't know what's going on, but she's blaming you. And it never occurs to you that some of the issues, or the majority of the issues, could literally just come from her having a poor diet. It's not always your fault. Y'all with me? It's just not. So we have to recognize, and especially if you want to take on coaching, you have to recognize that it is a lot of factors that come into play when we're trying to get people to be their best self. And those of you all that want to be coached, don't you be coming at your coach like that, talking about it's you, or coming at your hairstylist talking about it's you, when you know you eating fried chicken and tamales and pizza and all this crap every single day, more than once a day, okay? Don't you think that can't be affecting it, and now you want to blame him or her for everything. Y'all with me? All right, so that's enough about that. But these are just things I want to bring to your attention. Let's talk about wellness. Now, this is on a whole nother level here, right? This is where I had to get to in order for me, and you're going to have to get to it also in order for you to understand, or the people that you're coaching. So my suggestion is, if you are a coach, which is really who this video is for, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, I'm all over. If you are a coach and you're dealing with people and their sense of wellness, let me explain what wellness is not where it needs to be, you're going to be struggling with them and playing tug of war, and it's because of this. So let me read what this is. Wellness is the act of becoming aware, conscious, and accountable for the things needed to start or stop in order to lead a productive lifestyle. That means wellness, health is a state of actual being. Is my body healthy? Is my body riddled with toxins and all these other things that go along, it's cancer cells, whatever. Wellness is more of a state of, I don't want to just say state of mind, but it's a state of being more in an external way, not so much internally. One thing I've learned about wellness, and when I go back to this, I'm going to read this again because this happens a lot in coaching sessions. Well, the first thing that I do know is that for a person to even get to the point that they're asking you to coach them, they have to already be in what we call a state of consciousness. They have to know and have admitted at least to themselves that they need help. Now, let me break down something I learned at a conference I went to. And I've said this before on lives, but this is, you have three types of consciousness or three types of people when it comes to a conscious mindset. You have what's called the unconscious incompetence or incompetence with an S. That means we have a whole world of people walking around here who don't even know that they don't know. Any of y'all ever met somebody that don't even know they don't know? Don't waste your time arguing or debating with somebody who doesn't even know that they don't know. They have no, these are the people who they are. And these are the people that will fight you. They will stand flat-footed and have these ways of thinking that you like, are they serious? And a lot of other people will be like, they don't even know that they don't know. They are clueless to the fact that they don't know. These are what we call the uncoachable. These are people that are unteachable. They're uncoachable. That's why you got to do really good coaching interviews. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. They ain't never gonna get it. Don't even stress yourself out. Tell them, you know what? This probably isn't the right time for me to coach you or for you. It just isn't. So we're gonna, maybe at another time. There's all kind of ways you can say it real nice, but you do not have to coach everyone. You do not have to be that coach that takes on everybody. You have that right. So then we have the second layer of people, which is usually what you're going to get that comes to you about coaching. They're called the conscious incompetent. That means they don't know and they know they don't know. They'll tell you, I'm coming to you because I don't know. And I need you to help me because I know I don't know. These are the coaching candidates. These are the people that say, look, girl, I don't have a clue how to fix this. I don't have a clue what to do. I don't know where to go. I just don't know. But I know I don't know, and I know I need some help. These are the people who come to you and say, I need your coaching. I need your help. And you got to go through the proper interviewing and assessments in order to know whether you can help them or not. That's that group, okay? Then you have this third group, which is almost as bad as the other group, but on the opposite side of the coin. And they're what's called your conscious, competent people. Now, let me say this about conscious, competent people. They're very conscious. They know exactly what's going on. And they actually do know quite a bit. They actually are very competent. They're not incompetent. They're usually pretty smart. They're usually pretty cultured. They're usually whatever it is. They usually got some experience. They got some stuff to offer up. The thing to be aware of when you get one of those people, if any of you all out there are educators and you're an educator for, say, a company or for yourself or whatever it is, if you get a conscious, competent person in your room, that is going to be the person that's going to challenge you. That's going to be the person that's going to ask you questions, whether their intention is to really get the answer or whether they just want to see what you know. These are generally the people that are, sometimes we call them the know-it-alls. There's nothing wrong with being in that space until you get to the place where you think you have no or nothing else to learn. That's when being a conscious, competent person is really going to be your biggest downfall. Those are people that get to this level of learning and they stop. And they basically feel like, I don't need anybody to tell me anything. I actually interviewed a person that was very consciously competent. And I had to release her. I did accept her for coaching because I was actually very excited that she knew a little bit. I felt like, cool, this is somebody who knows something. I can have like a real conversation. Would be like if I'm into real estate. And this is a person that knows something about real estate. And this is wonderful because now we can have a real conversation. I can speak real estate language and whatever it is. It's that way with color. I teach color. I've had people that they knew color and I could talk in terms of levels and I could talk in terms of like what the beauty school book says. And I got excited. But then when I realized that this person was not the person that was willing to learn any more than that which they knew, I knew at a point the relationship was going to clash. Because a lot of conscious, competent people, just like the unconscious, incompetent, have gotten to a place where they're no longer coachable. They're no longer teachable. They figure I know as much as I need to know and that's it. And I don't need nobody telling me nothing else. But I believe there's a part of them that knows that they don't know because secretly they'll still seek out help. But they'll do it in secret. These are people that unfortunately they struggle with a lot of pride issues. And the thing that is sad to me is I have seen this conscious, competent person have some of the biggest downfalls and downward spirals that take them all the way out the game. And because they suffer with pride issues, they usually go into recluse. You can't find them for like years because they're embarrassed because they felt like I knew what to do and they're not yet operating in that level of humility that will let them own it. I did it. It's over, and get back up and dust yourself off again and keep moving. So these are behaviors. They're out there, guys. I'm telling you. You got to know when, okay, we not going to do this, so we're going to cut this off right here. You got to know when to do that. If you are coaching or if you have let them slip through the cracks and you thought they was all right, but then you realize we fighting, because I don't believe you should have to fight people to help them. That we're not going to do. I'm not going to fight you. Now, we're partners, right? So you don't have to just do everything that I say, but you have to remind people sometimes they called you. You didn't call them, okay? So these are things that you just have to understand goes along with the coaching thing that you say you want to do, okay? And then here we go again, accountable. They are accountable, and that means accountability. All it means is that you have taken a stance in your life and said, you know what? I ain't blaming nobody for nothing no more. I'm not trying to pass the buck and pass the potato. This me. I did this. I'm responsible for this. And I need to fix it. I don't care who did what. I still made the choice, believe it or not, guys, to not do anything. It's still a choice. It's still a choice. To do nothing and just let stuff roll out. That's still a choice. Because you still got a choice to not do that. Dave Ramsey, his Entre Leadership Group, which I am part of. I've taken many courses through his Entre Leadership Group. I absolutely love it. He enlightened me to something that I now add into my interviewing process when I interview anyone for anything. He said what they started adding to their interviewing process because of the way people work at his company. They work very independently. They're not micromanaged. They're given an assignment and whatever resources they need, and they're kind of left to their own vices to do it. They're trained, and you do it, and this is what you need to be accomplishing. That's kind of how they work. So when you have people that work independently like that, you have to know that they have the ability to do that. He says, so in his interviewing process, he asked all the other questions, and then he gets to this last question, and he said it throws people off because no one is expecting this answer. Or this question. He says he asked his interviewees, can you tell me what is your greatest failure? What is the thing that you can say that you have failed the most at? Just miserably failed at. He said, and people sit back and they're like, oh my God, what do I say to that? He said, and he's looking for one of three things. He said either they're going to say one thing, which we know is a lie. They can't think of none. I can't think of nothing. I can't really think of no time that I had a fit. That's a lie. So he said that's a person in straight denial. He said the second thing that can happen is they'll say something, but they'll rebuttal right behind it and say, but it's because of so-and-so. And so they're gonna redirect that failure was because of something somebody else did or didn't do or created or whatever. They're going to blame someone else for contributing, even if they don't say it's all their fault. They're going to blame them for contributing to that failure. He said the person he's looking for is the person that spits it out without hesitation and owns it and said, I did XYZ or I didn't do XYZ, and because of that, that made me be in this situation. He said that's the person he's looking for. He said because he needs to know that whatever you do, good or bad, you go own it. He said, I could work with somebody that owns it because we could fix it. He said, ain't nothing you could do with a person that's always somebody else's fault or somebody that think they don't do nothing wrong. He said, you can't do anything with that kind of person. So that's accountability, is just owning it, guys. It's just, I don't care who did what. You still had a choice, okay? For us women that have maybe been married or been in relationships where we eventually had to part from whoever that male was in that relationship. When you finally made that decision, the same stuff was happening that was happening 10 years before you made that decision. You just decide, I'm done. No more. So it's not that anything changed. It's not that anything got worse. You just made the decision that I'm not going to do that anymore. When you make decisions in your life, it doesn't mean that the circumstances change. It just means that you have accepted the fact that I do have a sense of responsibility. I have a choice. I do not have to stay anywhere that I really don't want to be. And owning your part and owning your position in life, and whether your money is messed up, whether your relationships ain't where they need to be. When you own it, it's easier to fix it. A coach can't help you if you can't own it. All right? So y'all remember that. This is something that just is, okay? So y'all want to be a coach? See, all y'all here want to be a coach, y'all. This stuff y'all going to have to deal with. All right? So and you see that it says to start or stop. Anything. That means you might have to start some stuff. That means you may have to stop some stuff. Okay? This is what I researched. This is good, y'all. I only got 15 minutes, so I'm going to go on through it. There are 7 dimensions to wellness. I don't know if y'all knew that. Wellness has 7 dimensions to it. That means it has 7 things. If you want to live what we call, I call it the Eat, Pray, Love lifestyle. Any of y'all seen that movie? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Eat, Pray, Love, where she wanted to just live well and she just let it all go and just went and did her thing. Now, I ain't telling y'all to do that, but I'm just saying, y'all get what my gist, right? If y'all didn't watch the movie, go watch it. It's with Julia Roberts. It's good. It's a good movie. It's an old movie. And what I have realized in wellness, oh my God, there are several components. Y'all see this? Let me scroll this up so y'all can see this a little better. There's something called emotional wellness. Oh my God. When I say emotional wellness, your ability to handle stress, your ability to handle pitfalls, your ability to handle disappointments, your EQ level, your ability to understand what isn't said, the unsaid we call it, your ability to know when you tripping and it ain't everybody else. Emotional, or what they call EQ, your emotional intelligence. It really has everything to do with who you become in your life, personally, professionally. Those that have a very high EQ generally are much better with people. They have much better relationships. They are more productive professionally. You need to read. There are several books out here on emotional intelligence. This is just no end for them. But I want you just find one, y'all. I got a gang of them, so I can't even recommend just one. I done read about 10 of them. But emotional intelligence and you understanding where you are at this cycle of life, and where sometimes, I use this term or this phrase a lot. Everybody's great for somebody. We just may not necessarily be made for each other. I really believe that. I don't have this idea that I'm right and you're wrong, or you're right and I'm wrong. I have accepted the fact that this world evolves from a multitude of different opinions and types of people and spiritual backgrounds, and the world is just a big melting pot. And who am I to say that my way is the only way? I have accepted, and I have friends, I have associates that are nothing like me. They don't even believe in the same things that I believe in per se. But we have found some common ground where we emotionally are able to connect and to understand things about each other and to connect where we do connect. And it is a place in life when you get to the point where you're able to manage your emotions. As Joyce Meyer says, she has a book about that, how to manage your emotions. And you are not just living living a reactive lifestyle, and you're more proactive in your approach, and you're able to focus and know when you need to step back a minute. It changes everything for you. And there are some people you're going to coach that are extremely reactive. They little firecrackers. They got anger issues. They got it's all these things that life coaches end up having to deal with. But these are the things that will keep them from growing. I will say this, and this is something that if you want to work for me, with me in any capacity, you must. It is unacceptable. I will not hire you. I will not even entertain the possibility of hiring you if you do not have a high EQ. That means I don't micromanage people. That means I need people that even if somebody just died, even if you got major issues at home, you still have the ability that if it is time for us to work and we don't have the luxury of not showing up, you have still got to have the ability to turn it on and turn it off. And only those of us that love you and know you well would even know there's something going on with you. That is people, those are considered people with very high EQ levels. That means all hell could have broken loose, but they still get on that stage and perform. They still speak with the same fervency or passion that you've come to pay them for. Now, I'm going to tell you, it is not an easy task to be able to do that, but it is necessary to function through life. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't have the energy or the time to figure out who you are. Now, the people that work for me, I love them and they love me and they know I got them. I get it that we all got things because we all got something we can put on the table, right? But when we're here, we got to learn how to turn it off. How dare you all? There's something called, there are 4 different types of, there's emotional labor, there's intellectual labor, there's, I can't remember all of the other type of labors. There's physical labor, manual labor, emotional labor, and then there's one more. And this is where the emotional labor comes in. If you are a service provider, it is expected. I don't care what just happened. It is not fair and it is not right for you to dump all your stuff on the people that come sit in your seat. I'm sorry. Emotional labor is where you have learned that when you are working, you have to manage and control your emotions and still, as hard as you can, be the person that other people want to pay to have service. How would you feel if you went somewhere, whether it was your doctor, any service provider, your car mechanic, your lawyer, or whoever it was, and they just had something happen? They got the attitude of life. They didn't speak. They didn't do this. But they still gonna take your money. You would feel some kind of way about that. But I see people do it every day. And I'm gonna say this, and I don't care who like it. I am tired of my black establishments. I love my black people. But I am tired of walking into a black restaurant that is predominantly ran and operated by blacks. I'm tired of walking in and the cashiers and whoever's behind the counter thinks they got a right to treat me like whatever because of whatever happened in their lives. No, you don't. It is wrong and you need to fix it. And I'm going to say that. I'm tired of us even having the name. Now, yeah, well, we know if it was some bad service, we already know who was behind the counter. That is insane to me. But it happens more than it should. And unfortunately, a lot of us running businesses, this is why we've gotten the name of we playing. We ain't running no real business. This is why it's sad that when you get good customer service, that it's like, oh my God, this is great. That should be the norm, not the other way. But because we don't have the high EQs we need to, and then you get somebody that you coach and they just like you, and you wonder why. EQ is the thing. If all this other stuff, yes, it is very important. But your EQ will be the difference in you having a job and keeping a job. Literally, getting a job and keeping a job. So we can go on. I think I'm going to have a whole week segment on EQ because I can break that down in many ways. For those of you all that saw my video I did a couple years ago that God knows I didn't want to do, but God just kept prompting me and I did it. It was me telling you all about what do you do. I can't even remember the name of it. What do you do when you want to check out, but you can't? Some of you all start watching me because of that video. I was showing you all being as transparent as I could. And I told you all in that video, you ain't heard the whole story. I had to exercise a high EQ when I was going through all of that, and I had to just roll through it and smile and grit and bear it and still be pleasant. And that stretched me in ways that I didn't know I could be stretching. I thank God for it because it is a thing that allowed me to get past it. I didn't have time to cry. I had to keep moving. Okay? This is where your EQ can be honed. It can be matured. Okay? But if y'all coaching, trust me, you're going to get some coaches when it's coaching call, they don't want to talk or they avoid you. This is where EQ falls in too. I got people that we supposed to have a monthly check-in. Some of them are bi-weekly check-ins. I call them, they sending me the voicemail or I hit them up. Now, normally they call blowing my phone up, but now they're EQ, they going through stuff and they don't want to talk, okay? I can't help you if you don't want to talk, okay? So then let's get into the spiritual aspect because I'll go on forever about that. I got like 8 minutes, y'all. Let's get into the spiritual aspect. Let me tell y'all something. I ain't going to get into what you worship. This ain't going to be that conversation. But what I will say to you all, spirituality is not just about what we worship or what we call our God. It's bigger than that. It's about realizing that every day you open your eyes, something other than your own will did it. It's about realizing that every time that sun come up, I'm looking out my window here, every time that sun come up and every time that sun goes down, there is something else controlling this universe that is bigger than you. Every time when you see a baby being born with every limb, every artery, every capillary, every working functional system, it is something bigger than you that controls that. It is about recognizing that you cannot control the universe. You cannot control everybody. It's about you coming into this space in your life, in your mind, where you realize that it is bigger than anything that you can dream, that you can, I don't care what you want to call it. I know what I call mine, but I ain't even getting into that right now. But it is about coming into this awakening, I call it, that there is something that made you who you are. There is something that made you different. There's something that allows you to breathe every day and to put out oxygen, to take in CO2, carbon dioxide, and to put out oxygen. Or is it the other way? It could be the other way. There is something that allows you to do that. When you get to the point that you realize, and most of us, unfortunately, we don't get there. I don't care if you've been in church all your life or whatever you worship. Most of us don't get there until we get really older, where you really get it. You really understand that there is something bigger than just me and my people and my dream. That's bigger. There is a spiritual aspect that cannot be negated from you having a wellness form of life. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how many people you profess to love you. When you are spiritually depleted or you have not connected to something, a higher power that is bigger than you, you are going to be empty for the rest of your natural life. I don't care how much this other stuff that you do. That is the truth. I don't care if somebody tell you different. They lying to you. If you are feeling empty, and it's more than just about hooping and hollering and running and screaming. And I ain't talking about emotional church. I'm talking about really understanding that there is something bigger than you that controls this world. That is a space that as a coach, and there's a subcategory under life coaches, which is spiritual coaches. That's a whole nother type of coach. They generally fall under life coaches, okay? Then let's go on, because I'm going forever. I'm going to run a little over today, so y'all just roll with me, right? Then we talk about environmental. Let me say this, y'all. Anybody that knows me knows that I have an extremely strong mind. I do not blow with the wind. I am not a chameleon. I am not a person that goes along to get along. But I can tell you, I have been in some environments that maybe I at the time didn't have a choice, but I didn't have a choice physically to take myself out of it. I kind of had to endure it for a minute. And when you are in toxic environments, I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how much you think differently than them. You will be vexed every day. You will find yourself. I remember being in a toxic environment, and I found myself, before I would even walk into this place, I would have to sit outside in my car, and I would be like, God, you're going to have to help me. Because as of right now, I can't leave this environment, but there is no way that I can stay here. There is no, it was toxic environments, toxic businesses, toxic salons, toxic houses. I don't care how strong-minded you are, you cannot continue to exist in toxic environments, or you're never going to get to where you need to go. You're never going to get there. You are every day going to be fighting internally, trying to say, Lord have mercy, you got this idea. You can't talk about it because they dream killers. You talk about casting your pearls among swine. You got to just hold on to all of this. You can't be free. It is absolutely impossible. It is, I don't care who you are. Look, no human controls what I do. But I have been in environments where what they would do is, it's almost like, for those of you all that make barbecue, because I have the worst time making a good fire. My husband does that. I just can't seem to get the fire right. What happens with my fire when I try to make it for barbecuing, it doesn't go out, but it never gets hot enough. It's never hot enough. My meat will be cooking for 24 hours if I didn't let him do the fire. So that's kind of what happens when you're a strong-minded person, possibly like me, and you're in a toxic environment. You won't go totally out because you don't have the ability to be totally quenched, but the fire won't get no hotter either. And what will happen is, just like I said, that barbecue will be cooking for 24 hours. You'll find that it'll take you longer to get where you're trying to go, because you have nothing to fuel this fire. You using every ounce of your energy just to sustain the fire, because you're in this environment that does not encourage growth. It does not encourage taking risk and chances. It doesn't do any of that. And I'm telling you, you cannot exist in it. You can't. I done got so now, look, I'm out. I done got so if somebody asks me to go somewhere, I'm like, who gonna be there? Who gonna be there? If I know toxic people gonna be there, if I know it's a toxic environment, I ain't coming. I will get up and leave. I don't care what it is. I'm not sitting here. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear people talking about folks. I don't want to hear none of that. That old adage is true. Great minds talk about ideas. Average minds talk about things. And small minds talk about people. I am not interested in being around a bunch of average and small minds. I don't want to talk about stuff all day, because whatever with that, and I ain't talking about people. We're going to pray for them and we're going to keep moving. I'm not going to do it. And if I'm outnumbered and it's more of them than it is me, then guess what, y'all? Y'all see my emails trying to come up. All right, let me get that out of there. If it's more of them than it is of me, guess what, y'all? I got to go. If I ain't driving, that's what they got Uber and Lyft for. But I ain't staying. All right? So y'all get that? Environment matters, y'all. That old statement, what is the 5 people closest? That's the truth. That's the truth. They're the difference in you succeeding and failing. And if you are coaching somebody and you know they got toxic people around, and let me tell you something, sometimes the toxic people are people right in your house. Sometimes they're your husband, your wife, your kids, your mama, your this. Now, you can't necessarily divorce them, but you can mentally kind of check out a little bit, like, okay, I'm gonna do what I need to do, but I'm gonna have to I'm going to have to get myself, if you are in that type of environment where you got people right in your house and every day you got to fight that thing that is pulling at you, you're going to have to make sure you tell your coachees, and you yourself are going to have to make sure you get connected to organizations, to groups, to meetings that will give you the other side. You're going to have something balance that out, because sometimes I ain't telling wives to get divorced. I ain't telling husbands to get divorced. Don't none of y'all say I said that, because I didn't. But what I am saying is you're going to have to find you a gas station to fuel up. You're going to have to find somewhere that can give you some fuel, because you can't get it there. You're going to have to find something to do that for you, to balance that thing out, or to overshadow that here. It's toxic. You're going to have to do that, okay? Occupational. That you can't work in no space. You cannot work in a place that is literally toxic to your growth. You have to I tell people a minute, quit. Now, I will tell you that quit. Go get another job. I tell you, get another job first. Now, don't quit first. Go get another job first. Get yourself set up, because you can't come live with me. So get yourself set up, and then move on. I'll tell a person in a minute, you ain't got to stay there. You don't have to stay there. Move on. Go somewhere else. Do something else, okay? Then we're going to go into intellectual. You have to feed your brain, guys. And I don't mean with just things that are entertaining. I wish I could say it like Robert Kiyosaki says it in one of his books. He talks about people that feed their intellectual or their emotional side. People that feed their emotional need will always want to just do things that are entertaining. But when you feed your intellectual selves, you're going to want to read, you're going to want to watch a webinar, you're going to want to go to a business conference that it's about learning and not just about feeling good. It ain't a dopamine high. These are things that if you really want to grow in your life and you want to help your coachees grow, you're going to have to encourage them to do things that stimulate this just as much. I'm not saying you can't ever unplug and have fun, and we got to do that too. You see, I get to social. But you got to be stimulating, reading your brain. You got to come up with some goals. I'm going to read so many books a month, or so many books a week, or do so many audibles or audio books or something. You got to or watch YouTube is great. I have YouTube nights where literally I'm on YouTube I look at I got all the financial people saved, and I'm learning, about cash flow statements and financial statements. I love it. I mean, nowadays with the information age, you got all types of ways to stimulate your brain, but you got to make sure you keep doing that, guys. It can't just be fun, happy, joy, fun all the time. Okay. Then we have physical. We done heard this 1,000 times. It's the truth. You got to keep it moving. I don't care if it's walking, running, getting on a treadmill. What we cannot do is live sedentary lifestyles. That's what we cannot do. That means if you want to walk, you want to run, you want to get on a treadmill, you need some way to do some type of fitness. I even challenge you all to do this. I do stuff like, because I travel a lot. Okay, when I go to Walmart, I park way far. I don't try to ride around for an hour to get the first parking space. I park way far by the closest cart corral, because I can't stand having to take a cart back, and I walk. I take stairs when there are stairs that I can take. There are all kind of ways that we can do stuff. I know some people that will go to an outlet mall, like an outdoor outlet mall, and instead of them parking the car and just walking, they will keep moving the car. Keep moving the car all the way down to every store they go to. No, I don't care if you take the packages back and put them in the car. Do not get in there and drive down closer to where you are. Walk. There are several things that we can do that will allow us to keep moving, not be sedentary. It's not, for me, it's not just always about getting on a treadmill, getting on a bike. We need to do that too. Strength training. It's just about really moving, keeping it moving, as Michelle Obama used to say. It's also about taking care of your body, getting massages, getting facials, things that physically will actually enhance all the way from your inner to your outer bodies. These are things we need to take into account. I get massages on a regular. Like right now, I'm going to get a massage when I get off this live, because I'm not stressed, but my body is full of anxiety because I have such a great year coming up in 2020, and it's a year of a lot. So my body gets real tense, and I had a really bad car accident in 2009 that messed up my neck. So whenever my body is reacting to what obviously is stress, even though I feel fine, my neck gets even doing this like this, it's very sore right now. So it don't matter if for one while I'm switching, buying pillows. It ain't the pillow. It's that I need to toxins because I need to drink more water to flush my body. I drink water, but not enough right now. So I need to drink more water right now. I need to go get a massage to start dispersing the toxins and then flush them out. This is when I have to start minimizing a lot of meat and things like that. So there are all kind of things, but it's because I'm in a wellness mindset that I'm conscious that I need to make some lifestyle changes in order to be able to continue doing what I'm doing. Then social. Now, for those of you all that may know me or may not, I'm really an introvert. Those that really know me know I'm an introvert. I love people, but I can unplug from them and be okay. I love solace. I love being alone. I love going to the movie. My husband I think, really got used to it. I love going to the movies by myself. I love sitting at a bar in a nice restaurant and eating and talking to the bartender. And I just love my own space. But what is happening in my life is my life is growing exponentially, and I love that people love me. I mean, I'm fun to be around, but I just need to unplug from people especially after I've done a big presentation. But what I am learning is that I have to increase my social connections. I have to. I have so many opportunities that God has really blessed me with. And I think I may miss some of them because I don't get in the social circles. Because I'm like, I don't want to do all that. So this year for me, or the year coming up, is really about the year of connecting. It's about the year of connections. It's about going to that after party that I normally would never go to. And it's not about partying. It's just about these people that I'm connecting with. They be happy to stay. Be like, what? You here? What? You know, they're excited. And it's about me really, I have great relationships, but it's about building more. You know, at the end of the day, guys, I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how emotionally intellectual you are, or how spiritual you are, or how great your environment is. I'm just going through these, or how great your occupation is, how smart you are, or how physically in shape you are. At the end of the day, all we really have is each other. All we got is when all else fails, all you really have is the people in your life that can hold you up, that can help you get back on the hump, that can really be there when you need them. And I have neglected to make the social side of my life significant in any way. And so this year, like, I'm actually going somewhere this weekend, and they made a bet, y'all. I was so hurt. They made a bet that I wasn't coming. And I don't know who lost, but I'm going to be there. So they like, what? They like, girl, I done lost my buddy. So I'm just excited to know, be conscious, as I told you in the beginning, about wellness, and to be conscious about knowing what needs to change in order for my life to grow. These are the same principles as I coach people. If you all are interested in coaching, you see I got my website down there. My website will be updated by next week. It's so much to put on there. KnowledgeByNikki.com if you're interested in coaching or getting coached or learning about coaching. I got a great program coming up. It's a conference called The Coaching Call, and it's going to be in Atlanta in this 11,000 square foot mansion. Could I show y'all this real quick? Y'all that's still rocking with me, let me see. Don't y'all judge me about all this stuff on my computer, okay? Don't y'all judge me. So I don't need to save this. Let me show you all this mansion, okay? Y'all, yeah, I know I got a lot of stuff on my screen. So what? Let me see if this mansion will pull up for y'all. Let me see. I got it on here somewhere. Let me see if this, I hope, look, today of all days, it might not want to open, right? Let me see if I can show you this. Y'all see this? Y'all see this, guys? This is where we're going to be. Y'all see that? Don't y'all play with me. Y'all see? This is where my coaching call is going to be, guys. Is that not off the chain? I'm doing a coaching call. This is a mansion in Atlanta, Georgia. It's only a little bit from the airport. We're doing our coaching call here, guys. And this is where we will be, and we have the entire house, and we just gonna do it like in pajamas and loungewear, no makeup. We gonna come together. It only seats or sleeps 31, which means me and Tish Sutton, who we're doing this together. We're both teaching you all the different aspects of coaching, and we gotta have 2 beds, right? So that means it's only 29. So we are, that's what we're doing. And it's August 28th at night. So you got time, guys. You got payment arrangements, all that stuff. I got the link. I forgot to put it in the heading today. But if you're interested, you can go on KnowledgeByNikki.com with 1K. And you can get all the information you want to get. And this is where we're going to be, y'all. Ain't that beautiful? Isn't that like absolutely, I'm like, this is like the bomb, right? So that's what we're going to be. And we're going to just have like a retreat. Coaching is a very precious thing to me. It is probably the most rewarding thing I have ever done in my life. And I want you all to understand how to do it, why to do it, when to do it, if you should be doing it at all. But if you are actually interested in a coach, and I do business development. So tomorrow, I'm going to do that early, y'all. I might do that about 7 a.m. in the morning because I got things to do. I'm going to talk about the business development side. This is what I do. This is the type of coaching that I do. And it's probably going to be in a 2-part series. I think I'm going to start tomorrow and finish on Monday. So this is what we're doing, guys. So look, it is well past my time. I hope you all have learned a lot, enjoyed. I didn't plan on being on this long, but I just appreciate you all listening. So I am going to sign off for now. I'm going to have to wheel around here because my shutter switch isn't working to cut this off. But Knowledge by Nikki with 1K.com. Email me anything you need to know. I got links and all that good stuff. And I will have the website set up for you real soon. So happy Friday. Peace out.